Okay, I'm waiting to get the notification. Boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an amazing guest and health coach, Sister Susan Mohammed, who is out of Baltimore, Maryland, and who is someone who watched me and my siblings grow up, and it was close to my mom, then my aunt Jamila, and just someone who I'm very humbled and honored would take time out of her busy schedule to give us some information as well as some inspiration. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother Joshua. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. It's no, the honor is mine. What I wanted to ask you is, how did you get into becoming a health coach?
Okay, can I first open up?
Yes, ma'am.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are forever due. I bear witness to the exalted living Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and to that divine man in our midst, the Jesus in our midst, the honorable Lord Farrakhan. I greet everyone with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, ma'am.
So your first question was, how did I become a health coach?
Yes, ma'am.
A few years ago, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the teachings in How to Eat to Live, always had me on a journey of health and wellness. I am a licensed physical therapist assistant. So by following the teachings, it taught me how to treat people in a different perspective. So I treated people individually and not just like everybody was the same.
Yes, ma'am.
And so a few years ago, I met Dr. Willie Richardson, who's a holistic dentist. And I always chose, of course, Dr. Aline, and I had another holistic doctor that I followed. And Dr. Richardson introduced me to Dr. Joel Wallach and the Longevity Nation. And Dr. Wallach, I thought he was fascinating because a lot of his things that he says parallels with what the messenger has said. Like he says, your potential to live is 120 to 140 years old. Mm-hmm. And as he said that there are over 900 diseases that can be repaired, but they are nutritional deficiencies. So as I began to look further into what he was teaching about and seeing people make significant changes in their health, I said, oh, this sounds like something I want to do. So this past year, Dr. Wallach's people set up a school. It's a holistic health coach school. So we're not doctors, we're certified health coaches. And we joined that. And at the end of that, we became certified health coaches. And our goal is to teach the grassroots people, even if they don't do the product, how they can take charge of their health and even ask their doctors. So for instance, Dr. Wallach says that no one needs to be diabetic type 2 in the world or in America. And he doesn't care how long you've been that, within 3 months, you can be an ex-diabetic. The messenger also said that the soil must be minerally rich. And this is what Dr. Wallach pushes, is that minerals, if you give the body the nutritional support, the body knows how to repair itself. So that's what it's all about.
Excellent. Okay, so Susan, are you saying I have to limit my sweet tea and number 9 chicken sandwich combos, is what you're saying, in order to
eventually. Yes, sir. Well, the CDC in 1936 said the soils in America were depleted of essential nutrients. Essential meaning that if the body doesn't get it, the body starts to break down. And today it's worse than ever. This was 1936. This was almost 100 years ago, 80 some years ago. So it's a lot worse now. And then we wonder why people are going into chronic illnesses like they are.
Okay, yes, ma'am. And yes. Excellent. And how are people receiving the information that you're giving them?
Well, it's just like giving people the teachings. You know, some people, it's hard to We're not out to convince people. We're just out to drop the seeds, and people will eventually come around and see that it's the truth. But it's kind of hard to figure out for people that they don't need medicine, but that nutrition is their difficulty factor. And I believe Master Fard Muhammad said, "Let medicine be your food, and your medicine cabinet is
yes, ma'am.
Is your your food is the health of your household." So to tell people that all you needed was you have a deficiency in nutrition, it's kind of simple, and it makes people think like that can't possibly be so. But those who have tried it see the event and the results of it.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. My sister Miriam says, "Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, Amy." My next question for you is, when did you first hear the teachings of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Okay, I have degrees of coming into that. I remember my oldest brother, one of my brothers, he was really into the teachings. That was back in the 70s. And so every time you came over his house, you could hear the minister's voice. But the scriptures say that the beginning of the word comes with the hearing of the word. So I wasn't hearing it. I wasn't listening. And he would be on the side, he would be preaching as well. And then I went to North Carolina and I met Asim and Latifa Razat, who was also, this was like 80, 87, something like that. And I met them, and they were Muslims from under the messenger, but they were in search of whoever was in leadership. So they took me around with them. I was working for Dudley Products, and they was too. The thing about Mr. Dudley was he ran his business like it was the Nation of Islam. When I got into the nation, I was like, wow, this is just like the mosque. So sisters sat on one side, brothers sat on the other side. The men had to be in dark suits, clean shaven. The women had to dress modestly, and we went door to door and sold Dudley products. And Latifa and Asim Razak ended up taking me under their wing, telling me not to eat pork, and I followed everything they said, and they that's how I got my driver's license, was through them. And then one day Latifa took me to her mother-in-law's house, and she had made cabbage. And when I came into the vestibule, I remember seeing a picture of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I said, "Who is that man?" And she said, "You don't know who that is? That's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad." And I just couldn't believe the cabbage was made without pork in it at that time. You know, I was like, that cabbage was so good. I'll never forget that experience of eating that food that had no pork meat in it, because I had never experienced that. And then when I came back to Baltimore, my niece invited me to come to the mosque. And your uncle, Brother Jamil, was speaking. And I was actually looking for God in my life, because at that time my marriage was failing. And I said, "Oh, I know what I need. I need God in our marriage." So I was actually in search of. So I had a brother who was an assistant minister of a church. And I went to his church, and I would sit there and say, "No, because if the choir leaves, then I'm going to leave." So I really wanted a strong foundation. So my niece Marlo invited me to come to the mosque. And I came, and Brother Jamil was speaking. And it was like driving down a highway looking for the right sign. And that was it. So let me tell you what your uncle did. When I stood up to accept the teachings, he said, "Well, Sister Susan, since you came in late, the next time come on time." And then and I made sure I was on time after that. Every week I made sure I knew where because the mosque was traveling in different locations. And I made sure every time I was going to be there on time and for that. But that was how it happened. That was in 1989.
Praise
My first lecture by the minister I heard was in December of 1989, and that was The Truth About Christmas. Yeah.
Okay,
and they can't take Christmas anymore.
So when you we're traveling around the mosque, we're traveling around the different locations. No GPS, no cell phones. How are you all staying connected?
Oh, through the sisterhood and the brotherhood, we were so closely knit. Everyone, we were like a family, and we just connected with each other every week, I guess through the telephone. And we were so into the tapes of the minister. And if you were walking down the street and you was having a not so good day and you ran into a believer, oh, it just made your whole day. It was like, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. And we felt so good just seeing each other. And so we just kept in touch. And I believe it was the tape connection up on North Avenue. And of course, Brother Jamil would let us know where the next lecture was. So even if I didn't know, I would ask somebody so I would know exactly, because we went to the Y, we went to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum. I think we went down to Sojourner Douglas College. We was all over the place.
Okay, excellent, wonderful. And how did your family feel about you accepting the teaching?
Well, as I said, my oldest brother was into the teachings, so he would get on them every week, you know, have these debates and everything. So they didn't say anything. They really didn't say anything. They were, even though they were Christians, some of them were coming off of pork. I had, not only was my brother, but a lot of my, excuse me, a lot of my male cousins were under the teachings. They never registered, but they were always there at the mosque and studying. So okay. I just came under their wing.
Praise be to Allah. And who were the sisters? Like, who trained you? What was it like being in Baltimore at the time?
Oh my goodness. We were really trained. Oh my goodness. I was in the Vanguard class. I became a Vanguard captain. And of course, yes, sir.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sister Captain Leslie, she trained and molded us. It was so beautiful. She had us doing drill. Excuse me. She had us drilling. We studied a lot, and we traveled whenever the minister was in this region, or the Mid-Atlantic region. We traveled Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York. Whenever the minister needed Sister Captain, she would call me, Sister Captain Leslie. She would call me and say, Sister Susan, we need so-and-so amount of sisters in DC in the morning. And I'm like, how am I supposed to do that? And she's like, make it happen, ma'am. And I was like, yes, ma'am. I hit the prayer rug and Allah worked it out. And so I did a lot of praying during that time, because it was so powerful and it was beautiful. And then we would travel. It would be groups of us. And of course, every time we got to a place that was having an event, we would see your mom, Sister Sharifa. Yes, may Allah be pleased with her. She's such a strong soldier, always standing at check posts. Yes. Yeah, and Sister Captain Leslie, and then it was other sisters, Sister Tracy, Little Tracy and Big Tracy. And then we had Sister Cheryl. And you know what? They trained us so well. I remember being in Ohio one year. That temperature was cold. It was like below zero. And we would stand sometimes 6, 7 hours. Sister Bessie Jean was our captain, our national captain. And she was stern, firm, beautiful, but she trained us well. And being in Ohio that year, and Sister Captain Leslie would come out and say, how's the Baltimore sisters doing? Fine, ma'am, because you weren't going to tell her you wasn't doing good. It's like, fine, ma'am. And she would say, you tired? No, ma'am, we're not tired. And that has trained me up to today, although, and I'll say my age, I'm 62, but we'll soon be 63 by the end of this month. But I still hold posts going, like this past Savior's Day, went to Detroit, and Sister Farah and I, we stood that post on that large concrete floor but we held that pose there, and it was such a blessing to see that, you know, we can still do it. Thanks to those who trained us, Sister Karen, Sister Sharifa, Sister Leslie. And Sister Leslie, you know, she would shoot the breeze with us when we were out in the hotel. Sometimes it would be 9 and 10 of us in one room. But when it was time to go, Sister Leslie, it was like, Assalamu alaikum, and we would be running behind her down the hall. So it was a lot of fun because you had to be on time. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. My sister Naima says, Assalamu alaikum. Brother Stephen Smothers says, peace. And my sister Miriam says, you are so beautiful, a strong soldier. Thank you so much for your service. Okay.
Thank you. My brother Stephen Smothers, that's my brother.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Or even my nephew, one or the other.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, excellent. Now, after, what was it about the training that you all received back then that has kept you able to sustain to 60? Like, I didn't know you, I would never get you to 62 to keep you so long. Like, what was it?
Oh, wow. It was the training. It was the love. It was the love that the minister exuded to us. It was the love in the mosque. Brother Jamil kept us all tied together. If he thought you didn't get along with someone, he sent you out on a on a detail together. So Brother Jamil just kept the love among the believers, and Brother Minister Carlos has carried that over with us. So we're like sisters and brothers. Sister Clarissa, Sister Cynthia Mohammed, Brother Donald, they're all my sisters and brothers. I've known them now, and time goes so fast. I've known them now for 30 years. So, and Sister Yvette Mohammed, all of us, we soldiered together, we studied together, we did everything together, and we kept our love among each other.
Beautiful.
Thanks to the minister.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, in Baltimore, that is very close to Washington, D.C., what was it like leading up to the Million Man March as a sister and then as a Vanguard captain? And how did the Million Man March personally impact you?
Okay. We were busy, and the Million Man March was a beautiful event. It was so beautiful because guess what? I ended up being there.
Okay.
Vanguard captain. I had security detail, and I think they was going to put me on post covering Sister Evelyn Mohammed, but then they switched it to Sister Shelby, Mother Evelyn, and then they switched it to Sister Shelby, who was in charge of the school.
Yes, ma'am.
And I ended up in the VIP room in the building behind where the minister was speaking. Well, yes, in the building where the minister was speaking. Such a beautiful, tranquil day. I never stepped foot outside, except for going in and coming out. But the day was so beautiful, and it was you could feel the peace and the love around. But I was in VIP, and in the VIP room, I saw Stevie Wonder. I saw the guy, the Fresh Prince.
Yes,
I saw Carlton. Hey. I saw Al Sharpton. But there was a man there, and he was the brother of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And all of these were celebrities around me, and they didn't really strike my attention. But this man, he was brought in. I think he was sitting in a wheelchair, and I was just mesmerized over him because he looked just like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I just couldn't move. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I remember the minister at the Million Man March, he introduced him as the messenger's brother. And he said, doesn't he look just like my father? But oh, so beautiful. And he had a crown on his head that looked like it was in diamonds, and the big crescent and the stuff. It was so, I'll never forget that. I don't really remember the celebrities, but that was so beautiful.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, excellent. And my sister says great history. Thank you, Mimi. My next question is, Mayman March, growing up in Baltimore, or being in Baltimore as a Vanguard captain, Murder Capital, The Wire, all the scary stuff that goes on. Were you ever faced with fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
No, sir, not with the nation. I remember one time a brother, and I shared this in class once. I believe that Master Fard Mohammed was protecting me.
Oh, Akbar.
And I was sitting in the car waiting for my cousin. She had went to the ATM machine, and it wasn't dark. It was the middle of the day, and this brother was walking down the street, and he had a hammer on side of him. And so what I did, I took my drape had fallen down around my neck. I took my drape and I put it over my head, and he walked up to me and he said, "Sister, you know what? I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to respect you and leave you alone." I said, "All praise is due to Allah." And he walked away. It's like, so what the minister tells us, that our garment is our protection. It is so true. It is very true. And when my cousin got back to the car, she said, "What did that man say to you?" I said, "He told me that he was going to respect me and walk away." And that's what he did. And I said, "All praise is due to Allah." So there were other situations where, when the minister was present and things happened, that I still felt protected. It was like, I remember one night after securing the minister for several days, we were running back and forth. And that night I came home, I was so tired, I just laid on the bed and I felt this aura of protection around me. So I woke up and I was like, I feel protected. And then I laid back down, and the next time I felt it and I woke up, it was someone knocking at the door. And they said they were police officers, but when I thought about it later, they didn't look like police officers. And they told me they was coming to secure my house. So they said, "Did you know that your back patio door is not locked?" And I said, "No, sir." He never came in. He told me, "Go lock it." And that was it. So I felt protected. So I've never had any fear. I remember once, Sister Karen, we were at a venue, I don't remember where, but it was a large wall of doors. And she said, "Sister, when prayer start, don't let anybody come in that door." And I'm the only sister standing there. And as soon as they started the prayer, to end the prayer, the minister had finished, it was ending the prayer, someone came banging on the door. And a brother was getting ready to open that door. And I said, "Brother, don't you touch that door." And he made a motion. I said, "Do not touch that door." And he backed up. So I just feel when we're standing with the God, he'll protect us. He does protect us.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. See, Susan, you were so nice to us when we were children. I never saw the Vanguard, like, don't touch that door type situation. It was like, somebody, Sister Susan. All right.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. My next question is, what has been your greatest trial in your tenure in the nation, and how have you overcome that?
Oh, wow. Looking for, let me see. My greatest trial has been learning to love myself and knowing that Allah is sufficient for me. And a lot of times we look for love outside of ourselves. We're waiting for somebody to tell us they love us, but we got to learn how to look in the mirror and follow what the minister says and tell yourself you love it. And Allah is sufficient. Allah is sufficient. The minister said in one of his lectures, I think it's Belief in Allah, he said, we only believe in what we see. So if we don't see it, we don't think it exists. But learning to believe in myself, when I first came into the nation, I was very quiet. And as you see, when I'm talking about the nation, I can talk forever. When I came into the nation, if someone was just shooting the breeze and talking, I had nothing to say. I was very quiet. I didn't know, there was nothing going on in the mind to say, oh, yeah, shoot the breeze with that person. But when I came into the nation, I said, wow, I got something to say now. I mean, and I can talk about the teachings forever. So learning to love myself.
Beautiful.
Been my greatest challenge. But
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
getting there. I'm learning.
Praise be to Allah. And we are on the same journey. I'm sure everybody who's watching it as well. And I want to make sure I thank you for your sacrifice and thank your family for their sacrifice as well. So Susan, did you ever drill?
Oh, yes, sir.
Like at the drill competition and stuff like that? Did you ever do that?
Yes, sir. I messed up.
Oh, Sister Susan.
Sister Captain Leslie, she taught us very well. I love drilling. I want to get back into it. I think it's a great way of keeping yourself physically fit as well, but it is the exercise of the gods. But I love Sister Captain Leslie's calling the drill. And she drilled us all the time back in the day.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yes, sir, I did drill.
Praise be to Allah.
And I can still drill. I can still drill.
Okay.
Yes, I can still drill.
Yes, ma'am. What has been your greatest joy in your tenure?
My greatest joy is just knowing that Allah loves me and that being among the sisterhood and being among the believers is such a wonderful thing. And then traveling to Savior's Day, when I didn't make it to every Savior's Day, but when we went and did the work, and it's just been, Allah is so merciful. And I wasn't there for a couple of years, but knowing that the God would accept me back, all I had to do is take that step. I'm prodigal daughter coming back. And I said, once I get back, nothing's going to turn me around and make me leave again.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. I got just a few more questions for you, but I want to give a quick special thanks to all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. If you would like to make a donation to the People's Podcast, there's Cash App, the $, the People's Podcast. I want to thank everyone who has been continuous sponsors, starting with my brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera, a drone as well, television and film, and he's working on a big project right now. Thank you very much. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me, children's and coloring book, both of which are on Amazon. Please go out and get that. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Supreme Men's and Boys Urban Wear out of St. Louis, Missouri. I want to thank you very much. If you all need some good clothes, he'll keep you fresh and dripping. Thank you very much. I'm coming right back to you, Sister Susan. Raising Black Millionaire, Sister Tia Mohammed. She teaches economic empowerment and development through flashcards. Thank you very much, Sister Tia. Brother Kenneth Mohammed, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He will ship bow ties to you all across the country. Brother Todd X McGraw. If you need some Supreme Team Insurance Group, if you need some top insurance, reach out to Brother Todd. We want to make sure I'm coming to you all. See all you all's comments. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Brother Chantel, the X and Express. He hires truck drivers and they specialize in refrigeration, shipping all across the country. Thank you very much, Brother Chantel. Reach out to him for your shipping needs. Brother Jabbar Muhammad, Client First Construction, Inc., painting, carpentry, flooring, plumbing, etc. If you need some work done in the Chicago area or the Memphis, Tennessee area, reach out to Brother Jabbar Muhammad. Sister Landra El Muhammad, Navy Beans, More Than Bean Pies. Thank you very much. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs. And we're coming right on home so we can get to our sister. Please like, share, and subscribe. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 Disinfecting Cleaning Services. Thank you very much, Brother Rashad. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra and No Father, No Excuse. Thank you all for your support. Boom. Both of which are on Amazon. Okay, so back to our sister Captain Susan Muhammad. Ooh, this whole time I don't like. I got to go back and look at drill tapes. I didn't know you drill, so I never knew. What do you do for fun now?
Work. Messenger said, when you bored, work. Well, I believe that in serving the people, and that's why I do the, I work a lot. I read and I study and I work. I believe in serving the people with what I'm doing with the wellness health coach is very good. So that's what I love to do. I don't do anything else for fun.
Excellent. What type of music do you listen to?
I have not listened to any music lately. I basically like to talk about the teachings, and my plan is to start playing the ministers' music more often, but I'm just busy on the go most of the time.
Yes, ma'am. And how has being a grandmother impacted you?
Oh, wow. I just look forward to leaving a legacy for my grandchildren,
yes, ma'am.
A history for them. And I have 6 grandsons. They range from 17 to 4. Ishmael, Sadiq, Sharif, Sion, Samari, and the last one is Idris. And they're wonderful young men, and they know about the teachings. Their parents tell them. So I'm just looking forward to their future, and I spend time with them. They come over to the house and spend time, and they like being young men. Like when they come to the mosque, Sharif and Sadiq, they don't care if it's 20 degrees below zero. They want to be outside with the brothers. They're not sitting still. They're like, Grandma, I'm going outside with the brothers, so it really helps them boost their manhood. But I look forward to leaving them a legacy and a history of this beautiful nation of Islam.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Well, I want to thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule, ma'am. And thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for the sacrifice of your family. And this means a lot to us that you would come on the People's Podcast today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Brother Joshua.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you all. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, sir, I will. And give your family the greetings for me, please.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And you please do the same. All right. Yes, and I'm going to look at this. I'm going to find you on the drill tapes, by the way. I'm going to find you.
Okay.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, wa alaikum salam.